Hey, what's going on, everybody? So this week we're learning about arithmetic sequences. So you may have learned about this back, in geometry, or maybe a little bit in Algebra 1, maybe not. So I'm going to try to give you kind of a short but sweet lesson here on how to find the formula, or what's called the explicit formula for an arithmetic sequence. So let's get started. So, first off, arithmetic sequences, what are they? All right, so basically an arithmetic sequence, you can see right here, adds or subtracts the same number each time. Okay, so a few examples of that down below there. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the first one, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, that's adding 2 each time, right? Okay, the next one, 3, 9, 15, 21, that's adding 6 each time. Just counting, okay? You guys have been doing arithmetic sequences since you learned how to count, back when you were probably 4 years old. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's an arithmetic sequence, just adding 1 each time, okay? Another one, so not just adding, okay, the first 3 are adding, well, this next one, the fourth one, 12, 9, 6, 3, that's going down by 3, it's subtracting 3 each time. All these are arithmetic sequences, okay, because they're adding or subtracting the same number each time, okay? So, go over some terminology here. So, first off, just some things that, can make this look more complicated than it really is. So first off, up at the top there, a sub n is what we say for that. This n is a subscript, so we say a sub n. We use that to define a sequence. It's kind of like using f of x for defining a function, like f of x equals 2x plus 5 or whatever. Same deal here, okay? So n, so that subscript of n is the term number, okay? So if I have this sequence right here, if I said, okay, what is a sub 3? So the 3 is my n, okay? So that's just saying what is the third term in the sequence, okay? Because n is 3, term 3, okay, which would be 8, okay? 2 is the first one, 5 is the second one, 8 is the third one. If I said what is a sub 4, that'd be 11, okay? A sub 1, right down here, that is the first term in the sequence because the n would be 1. All right, there's a special term for that, which you guys learned about that first week of e-learning, or first 2 weeks of e-learning. We call that first term the initial value, okay? And then the other thing we need to know, d, okay, we use d to define the difference between each term, okay? So like, am I adding 3, then d would be 3. If I'm subtracting 5, then d would be negative 5. Okay, we call that the common difference, okay, the difference between each term. All right, so these things are all used in the what's called explicit formula, which is just the formula to find terms in a sequence. So let's look at that on the next slide here. A sub n at the top here, that's our formula. All right, okay, so explicit formula, it's just an equation that lets us find any specific number in the sequence, okay? So we've got, if we look down below, all right, this a sub n, okay, right down here, that is kind of the general formula for an arithmetic sequence, okay? So a sub n, so meaning any term, okay, if we go back, so to get that, we take a sub 1, which is our first term in our sequence, plus whatever d is. So if d is, we're adding 3, then d would be 3, so we'd put a 3 there, times, and then you have parentheses, n minus 1. Okay, and the n stays in there. It's just like when we write an equation with x, we keep the x there. Okay, same deal with n. So, again, a sub 1 is the first term, d is what's being added, subtracted, n is the term number. Okay, so example down below here, all right, right here. So if I have this arithmetic sequence, 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, all right, so each time we can see I'm adding 3, right? Okay, so if I want to find the explicit formula, okay, using this equation right here, so the first term, my initial value is 2, right? That's what goes right there. All right, so if you look right down below, okay, right down here, notice where the 2 is. That's the a sub 1. Okay. Every time we're adding 3, that's my rule. So the 3 is my d, which we can see there's a 3. And then the n minus 1 is always there. We just leave that alone. Okay, that's always part of the equation. Okay, so if we look down at this example, we've got our equation. If I want to find my 50th term, okay, so I can obviously count and just keep adding 3 until I get 50 times, which possible. Not easy. It's a lot easier to use the formula. Or say I want to find the 300th term, we don't want to count that many terms. Okay, so it's much easier. All we do is we plug 50 in for n, and we solve it. Okay, so how we do that, look down below here. I'm finding a sub 50, the 50th term. Okay, so I just keep my equation the same. Okay, but it's the 50th term, so n is 50, so we plug in 50. Okay, and then, so that's a 1. My poor handwriting is coming out here. And then we just do the math, usually in a calculator, depending on how big the numbers are. But remember, do what's in parentheses. So 50 minus 1 is 49. Okay, and then we would do 3 times 49. I should have brought a calculator out here to make this quick, but I'll do this over on the side real quick here. If I did that right. So that would be 2 plus 147, so 149. That would be the 50th term of that sequence. Okay, so if I counted up, adding 3, 50 times, starting at 2, I would get 149. Okay? So we'll do one more example on the next slide here. So here we go. Up at the top, there's my sequence. Okay, so what's my rule here? Going 20, 15, 10, we're subtracting 5 now. So that is my d. Okay? So in my formula down below, we need d and we need a sub 1. That's all I have to plug in to get my formula. So d is negative 5. We know that. Okay, a sub 1, that's my first term, my initial value. Well, first term of the sequence right there, look at it, it's 20. All we do is plug 20 and negative 5 into my formula. So a sub 1 is the 20. D is negative 5. And there we go. Okay. So, again, they'll all be like this for arithmetic sequences. Now, if we look down below, and I want to find, again, we use this to find future terms. Okay, so we don't have to do it all by hand and add it up. Okay, so if I want to find the 40th term, okay, so we have 20 plus negative 5, and now I'm term 40, so n is 40, so we plug in 40. Okay, so that's 20 plus negative 5 times 39. Okay, so 39 times 5 is 195. Went ahead and used the calculator on that one. Save a little bit of time. So you have 20, and that's negative 195 when you multiply those, so minus 195. Okay, 20 minus 195 is negative 175. Okay, so that's it. That's this section. That's basically what we're covering this week. So shoot me a message if you have any questions. Hopefully this works out for you. But that's all I've got. Have yourselves a good day.